Welcome back to Season 2 of the Viridian League. We have arrived at Event 7, Archery. This is the last event for which we saw a preview of in the qualifiers, but it was in the friendly where the autumn matches with a 35 set what is now our record. Now, looking at the standings, Evergreen Oaks have a 39-point lead over the Dune Dashers, who will sit in second, with just a few points ahead of autumn matches and Cosmoscopes. Now, this event will be a bracket here in different than how acted in the qualifiers. You can see here it's sped up in this demo rule in sake of time, although these demo teams not showcasing this event very well right now. Now, you can see here two teams face off each other, and at the end the team with the highest score will advance to the quarterfinals and further on if you're later on in the bracket. See here, the dark gray team beat the brown team. Now, we've straight into the first heat, Winter Mints and Nightshades. And off they go. Snowdrop here, starting off the event here with a 7, solid for them. Now, Wraith following it up here, let's see. And outdoes them with a 9. It's all about how these teams compare to each other here in 8. It's not quite enough to match what Wave did in the first round for the Nightshades, but they need to keep it up here. Let's see, will they? Yes! At 8, puts them 2 ahead so far, halfway through this shootout. Now, let's see. Thought by here, ooh, tips up over into the 7. And now, Phantom here, let's see. Copies them, still 2 ahead for the Nightshades. Now, Popsicle, last runner for the Winter Mints, gets an 8. That's a 30, that's a solid total. But the Nightshades only needed a 6 to tie them. Let's see. And they do! And they get the tiebreak because of that 9 in the first round. That's very unfortunate for the Winter Mints. A very solid run. Not able to move on. Nightshades were just slightly better there. That's going to be our first advantage. Now, the second heat, all the matches and the Cosmoscopes. And off they go. Fall, starting starters. These two teams had the 2 best scores in the friendly and qualifiers combined, so it's a very tough matchup to see here, and the Cosmoscopes are not deterred. They start off with a bullseye to the Autumn Ashes 8. Let's see, ooh, Phoenix does not follow it up well, only a 4. That leaves them only 2 ahead of the Cosmoscopes with who have a marble more. A 5 is not a great run here, but it's solid for them, keeping the lead. Now, Crisp here, let's see, and 6 is not doing them any favors. I need a bad run here from the Cosmoscopes. Let's see if they'll get it. Starlight delivers a 7. That's solid for them. 4 ahead going into the last round here. Let's see. Cinder only secures a 6. If Iris here doesn't completely miss the mark here, they should have advantage secured. And with a 5 they do. 27. Solid start here for the Cosmoscopes. All the matches miss out after a record in the friendly. But importantly, both these scores lower than we saw in the first heat from our top runners in this event in the past so far. Although, of course, not having many appearances yet. Now, with the Dune Dashers here versus the Quartz Roses. Dune Dashers starting out with a 6. How will the Quartz Roses respond here with Jewel? Let's see. And it's a dead tie here. 6-6. Let's see how these last 3 marbles compare. Dune Dashers had a very bad run in this event. In the qualifiers, getting dead last. Although Quartz Roses were not much better. And 8 is solid for the Dune Dashers here. Very much so if the Quartz Roses can only muster up a 5. Now Rocky here. What score will they get? And that's going to be a bullseye. That puts them 13 ahead. The Quartz Roses need a very good run here to stay in contention. And they're just barely going to get it. But with a 9-point difference, Stony will secure it if they score anything. And they do. That means the Quartz Roses, doesn't matter what they do here, they will not advance. Although, of course, a better score will help them in the rankings from 9 through 16. And that 5 is not quite what they needed. But Dune Dashers will easily advance here over the Quartz Roses. Very strong there with that bullseye in the third, for the third marble. Now, Heat 4, John Schultz and Team Brimstone. Let's see, Ohm starting us off. Let's see, what will they get? It's only a 6. That's a lackluster start, but not too bad. We'll see how Volcano responds here. And ooh, that's just barely worse. The John Jobs have the slight edge out of the first round. Now, I believe that's Ampere throwing it up, but a 5 is not what they wanted to see here. Still, They have the upper hand depending on what Inferno does, and Inferno drops the ball. Only a 3. Not what Team Brimstone wants to see. Already 3 behind the John Jolts. There's only 2 rounds to go. Let's see a 5. Lackluster result there for the John Jolts. This leaves their open 14 Brimstone, but they need a good run here, and 7 is gonna get them close. Just 1 point behind going into the last marble. Let's see. And it's gonna be an 8 for the John Jolts. The Team Brimstone need an incredible run here. They need a 9 or above, I believe. And they're not gonna get it. Only a 6 for 21 total. That leaves the John Jolts with an advancement in this round. Team Brimstone could not quite get it done in the last round, although they needed quite the run there as well. Now, in Heat 5, Supersonics versus the Event Auroras. And off they go. Reverb starting us out here in the second half of the Heats. Only a 3, not what the Supersonics want to see here. Now, how will Gloaming respond to that pitiful start? And it's double that. Still, 6 is not in quite a dominant start here. Let's see. The Supersonics can catch up, but a 5 will not get them there. They're only 2 ahead with more extra marble. 40 Viridians with a 6th. They jump that. They lose that lead to a 4. Of course, that was disprepared. And and 1 for Jet here. That's awful for the Supersonics. They stay behind, and the Viridians have double their marbles left. Let's see. A 4 is not great for them either, but they hold the lead, of course. Let's see. Supersonics need a good run here to have any chance, and the 5 is not gonna do it. They stay behind. Even Arrows will advance here. Let's see if they can get a great score here. And only a 5. That's not a great run from them either. This was a very low scoring round here. And it's unfortunate for the Supersonics. Even Arrows lucky to sneak by here. Now, going into the 16th with the Apple Tarts and the Sterling Skies. And off they go. Caustic starting us off here. Let's see what they will do. A bit of a hang up. Let's see if it works out for them. And it does. And 9 is a great start for the Apple Tarts here. Let's see. How will the Sterling Skies respond with Silver? And that's not looking great. Only a 3 to start off. That's a third of what the Apple Tarts already have. It's looking very comfortable for them so far. Although a 4 is not what you wanted to see them follow up with. Now lead. What will they do? Let's see. No, that's a bad one. Only a 2. That's an awful start for the Sterling Skies here. Let's see. Now with Sour with a 9. Very solid. And they've already secured advancement here, I think. No, not quite actually. Let's see. Oh, well, now it is. That's a 0 from the Sterling Skies. If it wasn't secured before, it is now. Let's see. Only a 2. Doesn't matter. The Sterling Skies cannot in any way catch up here. Let's see. And only a 3. That's an 8 total. That's an awful run. Atrocious here for the Sterling Skies. Not what they wanted to set out here. It was a bit early to call that Apple Tarts advancement with how that round was looking. The Sterling Skies needed a miracle, and they did not get it in the slightest. Now, Heat 7, Histrunes and Evergreen Oaks are championship leaders. Histrunes having a lot to live up to beat them, but a 0 is not how it's going to start. This is looking very good for championship leaders to move on here. Let's see. Although a 3 is not how you want to follow it up with. Now, let's see if Jera can swing the tides here. Let's see. Oh, that's another 0. Double 0 to start for Histrunes. It's not what they wanted at all. Evergreen Oaks looking in a favorite position here. If they have a good run, and a 7 is going to do it. A whole round ahead already. Let's see if Perfor can change the tides a bit. And only going to score a 5. Let's see if with a good run, the Evergreen Oaks can already secure advancement here. And they do. An atrocious run here for the Histrunes. Let's see if they can recover it a bit. Not as bad as we saw last round, but the 10 is not a good score. And the Evergreen Oaks just getting a free ticket here, it seems. 9 with a 25 total. That's not what our other teams wanted to see happen in this heat. Our championship leaders will extend the lead, likely advancing here. Histrunes, unfortunate. Run there now with Heat 8 out of 8. Rainbirds and the Snapdragons. Lake will start us off here. Let's see. Now they go. It's going to be a 7 to start. Not too shabby. Let's see how the Snapdragons will respond to that. Let's see Arcane here. Ooh, only a 4. That's a 3-point deficit. It's looking good for the Rainbirds here. Let's see. Ooh, but they don't have a great follow-up. A 5 leaves the door open for the Snapdragons to have a good run to tie it up. Let's see if they do. And that's not looking great. It's only a 5. It's rolled over into the 5 there. And that's going to keep the 3-point deficit. Let's see. Another 5 for a pond there. And Once again, giving a chance to the Snapdragons here, and they take it. 9. They're 1 ahead, heading into the final round here. Let's see what Canal can do. And it's going to be a bullseye. It's an incredible run here for the Rainbirds. Crawling away from defeat. Let's see, the Snapdragons need a 10 here to advance, and they get it. They needed a 10 here on the tiebreak, and they get it. Incredible pain for the Rainbirds after a very likely advance with the Snapdragons snatching away with a 10 in the final round. Incredible work there from the Snapdragons. And you can see here, Wintermins and Rainbirds not too happy with the format here with incredible runs, only getting 9th and 10th. The stewards will definitely be discussing this if this event is to return. So guys, if that was lucky to advance, Nightshades very happy with their provisional first. Of course, after the heats, they still need to perform here in the quarterfinals. Let's see, how will Rave start us out? And that's going to be a 2. Not a good start for the Nightshades at all. This leaves the door open for the Scopes to have a great lead, and they take it. 9 versus 2. That's a 7-point deficit after only the first round. Of course, 3 marbles have plenty of opportunity to tie it up, and the 10 is what the Nightshades want to see here. Great run there from Spectre. Let's see what Meteor can do here. Ooh, and a 4 is almost completely tied the game already. Now Phantom hoping to make use of it, and a 3 is not what they wanted to see there. Once again, door open in Scopes to take back the difference, but a 5 is not quite going to take it. Still 3 ahead, heading into the final marble. Let's see what Ghost here can do for the Nightshades, and that's going to be an 8. A solid run here. Now the Iris just needs 6 to advance here. Let's see if they get it. And no, just 1 away! And the tiebreak is going to go to the Nightshades here because of that bullseye from Spectre. The Cosmoscopes in last round were 1 point away from advancing here, but no, it goes to the Nightshades. Now, into the second quarterfinal with the Dune Dashers and the John Jolts. And off they go. Dirty starting us off here. Let's see who is 6 to start off. And now we have Ohm starting off for the John Jolts. Let's see. And they're going to better it by 1. That's a good start for them, but a 1-point difference is not at all comfortable. Let's see if Sandy can prove why. And that's at 9. Almost a 10, but not quite. But that's not what the John Jolts wanted to see in this heat here. Let's see. Ooh, and a 6 is going to grow that deficit. Only a 2. But still, with only 2 marbles, opportunities are slipping away. Now, a 5 does open the door for the John Jolts here. Let's see if Volt can live up to it. And the 7 is going to tie the game here. It's going to come down to this last marble. What will Stony do for the Dune Dashers here? And the 7. So that means the John Jolts will need to beat a 7 to advance here. Let's see, and they're not going to get it here. A 4 gives it to the Dune Dashers. Of course, the John Jolts needed an 8 in the last round to advance, so it was not looking super likely, but with a 4 that secures the Dune Dashers moving on to the semi-final. Now, quarterfinal, 3 out of 4, Evil Towers and the Apple Tarts. Starting us off, Gloaming here. Let's see what will they score. It's going to be an 8. That's a solid start for them. Let's see how Caustic responds for the Apple Tarts. Let's see. Oh, a bad start here for the Apple Tarts. 4, that's half what Evil Towers have so far. 3 marbles to make it up though. Let's see. Nightfall and double 8. That's a great start here for the Evil Towers. The Apple Tarts can already not overtake them here, but the 10 is going to get them quite close. A bullseye is what they wanted to see. Only 2 behind now. Let's see. Ooh, Sunset get a 4. That leaves the door open for Sour of the Apple Tarts. Let's see if they're able to take it. Ooh, and an 8 is going to do it. They're 2 ahead now, heading into the final marble. Let's see. Gloaming versus Cesti. Who will get it? I believe Twilight, actually. And it's a 6. That leaves them a 4-point advantage heading into the final Apple Tarts marble. They just need to get a better than a 4. And they will. 8 gives them a 30. That's an incredible run here for the Apple Tarts. And that's going to secure their advancement over the Evil Towers. Evil Towers a decent run, but not good enough here. Unfortunate for them. Although, of course, they already advanced after subpar run in the first heat. So they were all lucky to be here. Now, last quarterfinal. Evergreen Oaks and the Snapdragons, our championship leaders and their debut team, facing off here. Let's see. 5 for the Evergreen Oaks. Leaves door open for the Snapdragons, but they will not take it. Just 1 ahead after the first marble. It could go either team's way. Let's see. Evergreen Oaks here get a 7. Solid recovery there after a lackluster 5. But there's still very much opportunity for the Snapdragons to better it. And they do with a 9. That's 3 points ahead. This is looking good for other teams here. They want this Evergreen Oaks to be eliminated. And the 7 here is not quite good enough to make up for the loss, but it's still a decent run. But it's hinging on a bad run here from the Snapdragons. They're not going to get it quite yet. 4-point difference. The Evergreen Oaks need a great run here, and they're not going to get it. That's a 0. The Snapdragons will move on here because of that fumble from the Evergreen Oaks. Still, let's see what their score will be at the solid 6. Rounds it out to a 29. A solid run from them all out. Evergreen Oaks were just behind all throughout that run until they lost it at the final run. Although I don't believe a 10 would have saved them there still. Let's see, and that means the Apple Touch, Snapdragons, Doondashers, and Knights will go to our semifinals. Evergreen Oaks, our champions, will only manage an 8th. Let's see, that's good for other contenders who are faltering a bit, except for the Doondashers so far. And the Nightshades as well, sitting in 5th. Both of these teams hoping to close that gap as much as they can. Nightshades versus Doondashers, but only one of them can go to the final. Let's see who will go out here. And they want to start off for the Nightshades. That's not what they want to see. This is looking good for Doondashers already, although they need to make it happen. And a 6 is a decent start for them. A 5-point difference is what you want to see right out of the gate. Not for the Nightshades, of course. And they respond with a 7. Not too shabby here. Let's see Sandy. How will they respond to that 7? And they tie it. Keeping that 5-point difference with a round less to go now. Let's see. Phantom needs a good run here. And they're going to get it with a 9. But that also requires the Doondashers to falter. Let's see if they'll get their wish. And they're not going to get it. An 8 is only has only lowered that gap for the Nightshades by 1. They need a good run here. And I don't think a 7 is going to be good enough. There's still hope. They need a bad one here from Stony. But Stony's been decent in closing it out for the Doondashers. And they will take it here. An 8 with 29 is a very solid run here from the Doondashers, which will give them their ticket through the final. Nightshades 24 is not going to be good enough for them. They will settle for the consolation match for the bronze later on. Now with the Apple Touch and the Snapdragons, second green team they're facing in a row. Caustic starting us off here. Let's see. Ooh, and it's going to be a 7 to start for them. Very solid so far. Of course, it's only the start. Arcane, how will they respond? And they're going to get a 9. 2 ahead for the Snapdragons. Snapdragons have been thriving in this event very much, but the Apple Tarts haven't been too shabby either. It's double 7 to start off 14. Not too shabby, but still, this is in the Snapdragon score to lose it. And there they're going to get the awful run here from Wyvern 2 that swings it all the way around to the Apple Tarts' favor. Let's see if they can keep it up. As 777 is very strong here so far. Very consistent for the Apple Tarts in this round. The Snapdragons need a good runner, and 7 is only going to keep the deficit even. Let's see, a good runner could do it for the Apple Tarts. Ooh, and the 6 leaves the door open, but the Snapdragons need an incredible runner. But they have done so before in this event. Let's see if they're going to get it, and no! A double 7 to end it is only going to give them a 25. 2 points behind the Apple Tarts, which means the Apple Tarts will go face the Doondashers in the final. And the Snapdragons will face the Nightshades in the consolation match. Speaking of which, here they are. Nightshades will start us off. Snapdragons will have the hammer at the end. Let's see. Brave. Let's see. How will they start us off for the Nightshades? That's a bullseye. The best start you could wish for the Nightshades here. The Snapdragons need to do all they can to match up to it. And the 5 is only going to be half that. Another good start here for the Snapdragons. Let's see. What can the Nightshades do here? And the 7... decent second runner is looking very good for the Nightshades. Wyvern here, let's see what they can do. A 7, keeping the deficit of 5 steady here. Let's see. Only 2 mobiles for both teams, and that's a bad run for the Phantom from the Nightshades. Opening the door for the Snapdragons. Let's see if they take it here. And they're gonna take it. 8, that moves them 1 ahead of the Nightshades already. Going into the final, who will come out on top here? Ooh, a bad run here for the Ghost from Knights. Only 5. Snapdragons need to get a 5 or better to beat them here. And they're gonna get it. A 7 gives the bronze to the Snapdragons after a rocky start for them. Or rather, an incredible start for the Nightshades. The tables are turned in the last 2 rounds. Snapdragons come away with the bronze. Now, Doondashers and Apple Tarts in the final. Neither of these teams did great in the qualifiers. So it's a bit of a surprise to see either of them here. But very well deserved so far. Doondashers starting off with a 7 from 30. How will Caustic respond? Let's see. And it's going to be a 7 as well. Tied after the first round. Let's see. Sandy here. Gonna run a 6 here. Decent. Let's see if the Apple Tarts can take the leader or lose it. And it's going to be neither. 6 in theirs one as well. Both teams are tied at 13 after the first half of the final. And it's going to be a boulder here for Rocky. That's what the Dune Dashers want to see. They take a commanding leader. Unless the Appletards can have a good runner. And no, Fives only half that. Let's see. Can the Dune Dashers secure it here after the Bills in the last round? And they'll do just enough to get it. 29-18 secures their gold here. Appletards, no matter what they do here, they will settle for a silver, and a 3 is half what the Dune Dashers had in the last round. And the Dune Dashers, after getting last in the qualifiers, will claw their way back in the main league for their first ever gold in the archery. You can see here that Bullseye that swung the tables in their favor, and the Appletards could just not compare. And the Snapdragons, very solid run there to snatch the bronze from the Nightshades. And with that goal, the Dune Dashers make an incredible dent in that lead that the Evergreen Oaks have. Of course, they're still quite a bit ahead, but the Dune Dashers now steadily sit in second. Nightshades jump up to third, and the Appletards have recovered all the way up into fifth. Now, the next event will be the last of the first half, event 8, Triathlon. See you then.